damn the lot of you straight to hell. For I don't believe in God, and I ain't scared of the devil neither. Don't you try and cross me, none of you, for your bullying and teasing has done me in. And I ain't taking no more guff from a single one of you. Not now, not ever. So leave me be, or you'll be feeling the full force of my fury. Especially you, Hattie. For you're nothing but a mean, scheming little snitch, telling Matron I took her hairbrush when you know I did no such thing. Why, I'll wager you've hidden it somewhere. Most likely tossed it down the well, alongside the other loot I've seen you pilfer. Lordy, I hate it here at Grimhaven, for I just want to return home. But there is no home. Not now, not since Pa. Why did you do that, Pa? Why? Were you loaded? For it was a cowardly act, and one that's left me quite alone in a mean old world, with nothing and no one to care. Ma couldn't help dying, for she was ill. But you, a grown man, taking your own life when you had me to care for. Coward! I ain't got nothing. Nothing in the whole world. Not even my ribbons. I loved to wear them whenever we lit out for the sanatorium. Pa gave them to me, so as I could look pretty for Ma. Ma loved my hair being tidy, so I would brush it and tie it, and then we'd stand beneath Ma's window and wave. Ma's smile was enough to keep him going, Pa always told me. So I guess it makes sense that when Ma stopped smiling. Rupert says I have nits, for he saw them jumping on my scalp last evening at supper. He says if Matron discovers my affliction, she won't just soak my tresses in kerosene oil like Ma used to. Rupert says Matron fills the old tin bath to the brim with kerosene, and then she'll put me in it and hold me under, and it'll poison me for sure, and burn my eyes and mouth out. Oh, I truly can't stand the thought. I don't know what to do. Rupert says that he'll be waiting with a box of matches for when I get done, and that he's gonna set fire to my head to make sure that every last nit is gone. He was laughing when he said it too, and so were the others. So I left along too, but inside of me, I'm not nearly so sure, for he has a cruel way of looking that quite makes my toes curl. Last night, I couldn't sleep a wink, for all I could see were visions of myself running across the grass with my hair all aflame, like a midwinter bonfire. So I cut it off. I snuck into the sewing room and snipped until it lay around me like a pile of old grass. 14 years of hair simply cut off and gone. Like Ma. Like Pa. Just severed. Oh, Lordy, what a commotion it caused when I walked downstairs. The girls laughing and screaming, Dorothy crying till her face was red, and Matron and Cook scolding and tugging at my shorn tufts, as if to make them longer. Matron yelping to Cook that I was quite mad, and she'd always suspected as much. Mostly the boys looked uncomfortable to be witnessing such feminine histrionics, all except Rupert, wearing his usual sly, nasty grin from ear to ear. Well, the doctor was called, but he just smiled and suggested that Matron keep me indoors for a month, and that I wear a bonnet when attending church or being out in the cool night air. Matron was mightily peeved and cuffed my ear after the good doctor departed, telling me that the fee for his house call had been an entire waste of money, and it was my fault. Oh, and I was to receive no Sunday custard for 2 whole months. It was worse with no hair. The curls sniggered and jeered with little respite, until I took revenge on Hattie with a sewing pin, for without a doubt she was the ringleader. Even Min Min was unkind which I had not foreseen. She was relieved, perhaps, that my patchy head, rather than her yellow skin, was, at least for the moment, the object of ridicule. But her cruelty bit all the more deeply, for I had shielded Min from Hattie's teasing on many occasions, and now in return she had betrayed my kindness. 'Twas not long before the sewing needle found its mark on Min's derriere, to settle the score and discourage further taunts. Still, it was Rupert who caused the most damage, stealing my precious ribbons and refusing to return them on the pretext that I had no claim to ribbons, as I had no hair in which to tie them. Loathsome Rupert! He knew full well my precious ribbons were all I had of my other life, and oh, how it pleased him to witness my distress. For months I begged and pleaded for their return, but I may as well have been speaking to a statue, so cold was his heart. Until, eventually, I just had to accept that, like Ma and Pa, my ribbons were gone forever. Willie never teased me. Being a colored boy, he knew all too well the pain of such bullying behavior, and I appreciated his restraint. He always addressed me as Miss Rose, which, whilst charming and very grown up, left me feeling uncomfortable. For he called most of us Master or Miss, whilst we addressed each other merely by our given names. I asked him to simply call me Rose, but he declined with a turn of his head, indicating that should Matron hear me say that, it would be all the worse for him. Still, I wanted him to know how grateful I felt for his kindness. So one afternoon, while he was working at the woodpile, I shyly offered him a small bunch of wildflowers I'd picked. Min had accompanied me, for I had long since forgiven her, and besides, my hair was well grown back. Willie accepted my gift in a bashful manner, and I felt a quiet thrill of contentment, the first happy feeling I'd had for so long. So there we were, laughing and talking, and then, as if tearing a page from a book,
No!
the happy scene was gone, ripped apart by screaming and crying and blood and Rupert's churlish grin. It wasn't Willie! It was Rupert! It was Rupert! He pushed her! Leave him be! Leave him be! Min, dearest, can you hear me? The doctor! Somebody go for help! Quickly! How could you? How could you? How could you? Give me my ribbons. I want them now!